Hey everybody, this is Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com here in San Diego, California. For all things Vespa, check us out on the web for all parts and accessories for both modern and vintage Vespas, ScooterWest.com. We got you covered. If you're looking for a set of new tires and wheels for your vintage Vespa, we definitely got you covered. We got some pretty awesome tire and wheel groups. If you search for them on our web store, ScooterWest.com, they're a complete set. So you get a pair of tires, a pair of inner tubes, and a pair of wheels. I kind of built my own custom set for my own Vespa PX here in my garage. It's kind of a little different from the prior formats. If you watch my past videos, usually I do them at the shop. I'm going to do this as a shot in my own garage shop. And pretty much I'm going to mount a pair of tires onto a new set of rims and mount them onto my Vespa. The cool thing about this, you can do this with the most basic tools. And if you have the original toolkit that came with your Vespa or a Stella, you have all the tools minus a source of air, which could be a bicycle pump and a pressure gauge. So all we need for this whole job is a 13mm wrench on a ratchet, or you can use the basic tools with the scooter, be kind of a little more work, a pressure gauge, and a source of air. And of course I got compressed air, but if you have a bicycle pump, scooter tire doesn't take much longer to fill up, compared to a car tire. So it's definitely doable with just the most basic tools. All right, so we'll start out with the rims and the tubes. I got these sweet white wheels, part number 084631-WH. These also come in black, so it would be -W or -BK, or if you just do the 08631, that would be the original Piaggio rim, or -AM. If you're looking for the less expensive but high quality Italian made aftermarket wheels, we have those as well. So included with all the rims is a set of hardware. So you got split washers and 8mm nuts, and that holds the pair of wheels together. And in the past, this may be a repeat video. A couple years ago I have put rims together, but I thought I'd cover our tire groups and do a more up-to-date video here. So the tire we're going to use is the very modern Pirelli Angel scooter tire. It comes in the classic 350/10 tire size, and it's suitable for both the front or rear tire. The one thing about these modern tires is they're not unidirectional tires, so they have a direction of how you'd mount them, and usually it's indicated by some arrows that are molded into the tire, so the rotation. You do need to watch what orientation you set this tire up, whether it's for the front or the rear. So we're going to mount this on the front. The tire rotation is this way, which is kind of counterclockwise, so it would roll like that. And since this is the front, the shallow half goes on this side and the deep half will go on this side. So we'll kind of set the wheel up. First of all, you want to get the inner tube in there, and when it's mounted like this, the short half is where the stem mounts out. You won't believe how often I see the stems incorrectly mounted. So you want to take your inner tube. We're going to take one of these high quality Michelin air stop tubes. Part number on these is 35010 TBM. If you're looking for the less expensive inner tube, which is perfectly adequate, 35010 TB is just a regular part number for an inner tube. I don't know what's better about them. Everything just looks a little nicer, like it's got a nicer stem on it. And you can pull the valve cap off. They always have a new valve cap. We already know that this is the outside of the tire. With the lower speed scooter, it's not really critical of any type of balance like you would with a car tire, or a high speed scooter like something that runs 12-inch tires and goes on the highway where you typically would balance the tire. So you want to push the inner tube all the way around. just kind of like that. And the next step is you do want to inflate it partly. Very, very important step. A lot of people try to just bolt the tire together, and guess what happens? You pinch the tube and then you end up with a puncture, or you may end up with a puncture down the road, which is even more dangerous. So take your compressed air, and you can kind of see the tube is going to start taking shape. So now, guess what? There's no pinch zone because the tube is taking like the round shape. No problems there. Sometimes the tire will have a little dot where it's like a little balance point where you can put the tire. Not really critical with this type of tire. So the next thing I do is put the thick half or the back half of the rim on. And you got this little, the hole where the stem goes through. So pretty much lift your stem. It's very important that you use a right angle stem with these style of rims. Ironically, today at the shop I saw we had to change, the guys in service, one of my techs had to change the a rim or a tube, an inner tube. It had a straight stem. You know, some shade trees shop replaced the stem with just a straight stem. It was impossible to add air to the tire because it was right up against the hub. And so you kind of get the rim partly started in there. Sometimes it's a little easier if you put a small amount of dish soap so you can get the rim to seat. Then we got this side, and this little notch will also line up with where the stem pops out. So you get the stem in there. I want to tell you one thing about these Pirelli Angels. They are really, really stiff modern tires. You know, some of the older style tires are actually much easier to mount, or the cheaper, less expensive tires. But these things are miraculously stiff. So I'll show you the tip to do how you deal with this when you have really, really stiff rims. So I don't really have the best table here, but you want to get one of those wheel studs through and have the rim, I'm just using my hand pressure, get the nut started onto the stud. So get the nut started. Just one of them, and then we'll be able to slowly work our way around the whole entire rim to get all the rest of the nuts seated. So once you got one nut on there, you'll be able to work the second one, the second stud, and probably get a split washer on there, and just continue working your way around the whole entire rim. And if you can't get a split washer, no big deal, because you just put the nut on for now and then come back to it. And then just kind of go between the nuts, and it exposes this last one here. And when you're done, you just want to make sure you have split washers on all of them. Even the ones that you just started without the split washer, you could take them back off once you get most of these nuts on. And you don't necessarily need a torque wrench, just a good amount of pressure on each one of them. If you have a much larger wrench, like a 3/8 ratchet, it is possible to strip these out. But the most important thing is inflating that tube before you start bolting the rim together. Just partly, and you can just go between them all, make sure you're all snugged up. So I got the rim all closed up all the way around, and I torqued all those nuts. If you do want to use a torque wrench, probably about 16 foot-pounds. That's all you need. Kind of don't be right over the tire when you inflate it. Kind of want to use a regulated pressure. They do typically have a maximum pressure that you can inflate a tire to, probably about 60 psi. And this is going to be a front tire, so I'll inflate it to about 20 psi. 26. There we go, about 21. That's close enough. And now we have one all ready to go for the front. All right, so we'll start with the front. Of course, the front's the easy one. You put it on the center stand. It's right off the ground. Nice and easy to change on these vintage Vespas. The rear, on the other hand, typically you'd want to either jack up the engine just slightly, make sure it does not pop off the center stand, and typically you'd remove the spare tire, the rear bumper on a PX. It's a little more work. Alternatively, you could just take the cowl off and carefully tip the scooter over on the right side and easily take the wheel off. You know, tip it over in grass or something that's not going to damage the paint. So that's one way to easily deal with the rear. And just kind of loosen these nuts up in a crisscross fashion here. So they're all freed up. And it's pretty nice to see these Savicrons go. They're not the worst, but they ain't that great of a tire, I can tell you that. Oh, these are original tires that came with the scooter, brand new. And one thing to keep in mind is all those split washers, make sure they're still in good shape. If they're pretty flattened out, it'd be a good idea to change those out. Rim just pulls right off the hub. Whether you got the drum brake or the star style disc brake, or on the Stellas that have the drum style disc brake. And go ahead and line up the studs. And one thing about reusing these nuts, you typically want to look for the side that's already been up against the split washer, because if you have it the other way around, you'll end up with the zinc plating that's off the nut, and it's going to look rusty in no time. And I'm even putting the same nut that has the paint mark from the factory on this stud here. And just go ahead and slowly tighten them all around. See how I'm just gripping the wrench right at the head? So I'm not putting much torque on the nuts, and I'm able to quickly ratchet the ratchet. I'm using power tools here. And you get them all to about that same even point. And then we're going to do a final torquing of those wheel nuts. You could hold the brake, makes it a little easier. And about 16 foot-pounds, or with the wrench this size, kind of just moderate pressure. And you can see I'm doing it in a crisscross. And there we have it. Brand new tire on there, nice brand new rim. And it's mounted in the correct direction for the front orientation. So in the past, I've changed tires and wheels on vintage Vespas. There's videos that cover that step, but I thought I'd do it again on my own Vespa PX. So there you have it. A nice updated look to my Vespa PX, along with the white seat, got the white wheels. I'm not really a white wall guy, I never have been. And a set of quality Pirelli Angel tires. Hope you found that useful, whether you're just looking to figure out how to mount up a tire successfully, or maybe you're looking to upgrade your scooter and buy one of those discounted tire packages from scooterwest.com. Thanks for watching. This is Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and scooterwest.com. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, ride safe.